Hi, I'm Hannah, and I want to tell you a story about me and my dad. Now that it's all past, I see how ridiculous some of my reactions were, but at that time, it all seemed like the end of the world. I have a wonderful family. Everyone's so kind and loving, and I can really say my parents are my friends. My dad works in an office, but anytime he's off work, he's up to something, like drama classes, playing the bass horn in a local orchestra, writing things, a lot of stuff really. And most importantly, he loves to make everyone laugh. When I was younger, we used to eat out a couple times a month, just the three of us. And my dad would make me laugh every time. Being a vampire with fries he put in his mouth like fangs, for example, or anything he could think of. I found it hilarious. But I was about 8 years old, and kids grow up, you know? When I was 14, we moved to another town where we didn't really know anybody. It wasn't hard for me to make new friends, and my friends were always welcome at our house. They came over every week, and we had a great time. But with everything being nice, there was a problem. The problem was my father. If he was at home when my friends came over, he was stealing the show. My dad was desperately trying to be cool, and every time it was a disaster. Using words he thought were fancy, being the greatest actor of all time, and all these puns, and, okay, I have to say it, dad jokes. Sometimes he would do some super simple magic tricks, or, I don't know, do impressions of people none of us knew. I got so embarrassed I just wanted to disappear. Why does he have to do this? Why is he even my father? I thought as my face got bright red. The funny thing was that my friends thought my father was awesome. A bit weird, yeah, but still awesome. It didn't keep me from getting embarrassed, though. I couldn't really call my friends over anymore. More than that, every time we were going somewhere together with my parents, I was looking for excuses not to come. The town was not that big, and most of my friends lived in our neighborhood, so we could run into them at any moment. We were still out for lunch with my parents every other week, but my father didn't seem to notice that I grew up. Once we went to a cafe, and there was a huge aquarium right beside our table, so we just sat at the table, and my dad jumps up and pretends to give a fish in the aquarium a high five, looking at me expecting that I'll laugh. Literally, everybody in the cafe was looking at us. I was so embarrassed, I stood up, looked at him with anger, and left for the bathroom. He looked sad and confused when I got back. Nothing really changed till something else had happened. At my middle school, our teachers tried really hard to involve our parents in school activities. As you have probably guessed, my father loved it. And I hated it. So it was early May, and our parents were preparing a play to celebrate the end of our school year. I had no idea about it till I had overseen their rehearsal on stage. My dad seemed to have the main part and was directing the whole thing. I was terrified. There were 2 weeks till their show, and I didn't know what to do. I couldn't cancel it, of course, couldn't influence it in any way, and I couldn't talk to my dad because it would have killed him. I was just getting ready to die of embarrassment right in my seat. So the day was here. I took a seat as close to the exit as it was possible so I could leave if it got too bad. The lights went dim, and that was one of the best hours of my life. I expected the worst, but what my dad did was amazing. He was acting, he was dancing, he was playing all the musical instruments our school had. He was a star. I mean, don't get me wrong, he was just the same. He was my funny, awkward dad he had always been. It was all about me. I was overwhelmed. That day I realized that my dad is just my dad, and he is the way he is. Yes, he might be awkward and funny, but he's my father, and I love him this way. Now I know that maybe he's not ready for me growing up, but he wants to make me happy and cares for me so much. The moment the show finished, I jumped up from my seat, and I was the first and loudest to applaud. I felt proud. My dad was on the stage, and he looked at me across the hall, and he was so happy I liked it. He was doing this show for me. So, this is the story I wanted to tell you. And have you ever been embarrassed of someone from your family? Share your stories and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one.